Last week was rubbish. This week, well, for me, it was absolutely disgusting. Hello again, friends, and you are my friends. Let's get straight into it. Steve, disgusting performance for me, particularly defensively. How did you see it? What's your overriding feeling after Wrexham 5, Town 3?
Like I said, I was all for, changing all the team for last week. As long as we put in a performance, and we didn't. We were awful. The defence was absolutely woeful. First half we were giving the ball away in midfield. They were intercepting so many more balls than we were. And first half we were lucky to be 2-2 at half time. Second half I thought we'd come out and give it a go, and we came out and we gave it a go, and we got 3-2 up. And I thought, right, fair enough. Put your foot on the ball, get some composure, just take the game away from them. And it seemed to go the opposite way. The defence just seemed to give up, and they just thought, let's just.
It was terrible defending. It was shockingly bad. Disgusting is not a word I like to use very often. But for me, Steve, I thought at half time we'd got ourselves back in the game. I thought we'd got ourselves back in the game after an abysmal start where we couldn't pass the ball 5 yards to each other. We got ourselves back in the game, Steve. We got a foothold in that game. And then to take the lead just inside the second half, Steve, for me, I thought, okay, all right, this is a side that hasn't picked up many, if any, points when they've gone behind. They've now got themselves back from being behind twice, taken the lead. And I thought, okay, maybe this is the turning point towards the running of the business end of the season where towns start to find a groove, a mentality, something that gets them over the line when they've conceded goals early and gone behind. But then the manner in which we just almost fell apart, Steve.
The last goal, was it? O'Shea was on the 18-yard line. He just passed it to a Wrexham player. A two-yard pass to a Wrexham player. What's he doing? Is he actually? Does he actually know what colour shirt he's got on? The top and bottom of it is like, when we were 3-2 up, I thought, okay, come on, show us what you've got. And I thought we'll bring some subs on, and it'll change things up. For me, this is not a game where we complain, we haven't got a striker, people aren't scoring goals. We scored 3 goals. Any other day, 3 goals should win you a game. Yeah? The simple fact is, the defence was nowhere near. Yeah? Both Davis and Furlong were pretending they were wingers, and that's where the first goal come from. Long ball, Furlong's nowhere, and O'Shea doesn't know whether to go with Moore or stay in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in Dara O'Shea, he had a terrible time this afternoon with Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore completely, for me, bullied Dara O'Shea all over the field. He couldn't get to grips with Kiefer Moore, could Dara O'Shea. And I thought today was one of Dara O'Shea's worst performance in a Town shirt. And towards the end, was it his touch? Was it his pass for the Broadhead goal? By that point, I was almost head in my hands crying at the state of the defending, so I didn't quite see. But Steve, I didn't think Dara O'Shea got to grips at all with Kiefer Moore. From minute one...
In the end of the second half, but in the first half, I don't think Furlong helped him. He was bombing off down the field, and every time we lost the ball, they played a long ball into the channel, and Kiefer Moore was there, and O'Shea did not know whether to go inside where Windass and deal with Moore, allowing someone to run into the middle to take where he was supposed to be. Furlong was not tracking back. He wasn't chasing back. He wasn't helping. What we were so good at when we went up is Davis used to bomb off down the left wing, and the right midfield, the right defender, the right back used to tuck in to make a 3. We're not doing that. The right backs go in the same way as Leave Davis. So when we go forward, the right back's up there, the left back's up there, and it leaves 2 at the back. So we're knackered when they throw a long ball, and that's done us all season long. Most of the goals we concede are usually from a long ball straight down the field. Because both fullbacks have gone, we've lost the ball, and there's yards and yards of space. And that's something we were not doing when we went up. We always had the right back, and they tucked into a 3, and we just had one fullback going forward. Today, first half, both fullbacks were going forward. And when we lost the ball, which we did most of the time in midfield, because we were overplaying, and they were very good at pressing, I must admit. When we lost the ball, they were still up there. And it was just like Kipri, occasionally he went as well. Most of the time, it was just O'Shea against at least 2 players. And I'm thinking, well, what? That's gonna destroy his confidence. You know, when he doesn't know what, I saw him when that first goal, he's pointing at someone to get someone, while he's got Kiefer Moore running at him, he's pointing in the middle to try and get people into position whilst he's got his man to track. I don't know what else he can do. He could have engaged, but he's worried about the middle as well with the position he's leaving. For me, Furlong disappearing for that first half, that's what caused most of our problems on the left-hand side. We shouldn't be if we're going to attack with a winger, with a defender, one of the fullbacks. We need to do it with one and not both.
Well, you need balance to how you approach the game. Absolutely right, and particularly away from home, you need the balance, you need the control, all those different things that come into it. And like I say, having taken the 3-2 lead through a wonderful Kit Price strike, a wonderful goal. Seen it all over social media already. It's a beautiful finish, beautiful finish. You've then got to control the game and see it through and be the side that everyone expects you to be, a top 2 team, which now we look a million miles away. And tomorrow's show is a more measured show. We'll take a look at the whole wider picture. We'll discuss all the performances in more detail. I'll be more measured. I won't be as irate as I'm sure Steve will be. He won't be joining us tomorrow, but I'm sure after a night's sleep, everyone calms down a little bit. But right now, Steve, I'm really head in hands despairing at that performance this evening. And particularly, I have to be honest, as I always am sat in this chair, Christian Walton today has not had a good game. We can talk about Dara O'Shea, Darnell Furlong, whoever you want to talk about in terms of outfield players. But Christian Walton, is it 3 times beating at his near post this afternoon? The first one, I'll give you. It's a powerful, powerful strike. I'll give you if you want that one. I still would like him to get something to it. But the other 2, the corner, for me, stronger. Come and collect that. If you can't, you've got to be set. I thought he didn't have a great game at all today, Steve. At all.
At the end of the day, there was another occasion where they broke through and he made a good save at his near post. It still comes back to the defending for me. And I know people slay me. Walton didn't have a good game. I agree. Before I'll get that out there before I say anything. But I'll get slated for this. I know I will. But it comes back to the defending. It comes back to the defense. The goalkeeper is always your last resort. If he's taking shot after shot after shot, he's not going to save them all. And he shouldn't have to save them all because you should be defending them better. Stop letting the balls into the box. Tackle the player. Win the header. The amount of crosses that come in, and they practice corners before the game. Nobody got a header. Hardly anybody got a header. The only time they got a header was when there was nobody near him. Hardly anybody, when they challenged for a header, didn't get one. And
I'm with you to a point, but equally near post is almost a cardinal sin as a goalkeeper. Never get beaten in near post. That's the famous saying. Never get beaten in near post.
I don't think he played well, but don't let them get in that position. The whole
but once they are, Steve, it's a game of football, mate. Teams are going to get in that position. That's when your goalkeeper, traditionally, as it always says, another famous saying, wins your 12 points this season, which wins your promotion. So this afternoon, when you needed him near post, for me, I don't think he was good enough in those moments. I just don't. I want to sound wrong, but I don't think I am.
I started off by saying he's not had a good game. I agree with you, but we've got to put it into context. Not all of those goals are on him. When you're left one-on-one with strikers running at you and your defenders have decided to go AWOL and just let them pass right through them, the goalkeeper's in a bit of a lose-lose. You know what I mean? I have no problem with him. I haven't got a problem with him conceding goals. I'd rather him save them all. But the top and bottom of it, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And I think he didn't have a good game. He could have got sent off. It's like the goal that went in, and I don't know. Did he get booked for the handball? Well, if he got booked for the handball, why did the goal go in? Why didn't he just send him off and it would be a penalty because that happened before the goal went in? There's a lot of things that happened. I was convinced someone was going to get sent off at some point. That referee was mad.
Absolutely,
he was booking everybody, and I'm thinking yes, the goalkeeper could have saved those shots. He didn't save those shots. I think it all boils down to the fact the defence was just weak. And I will just sit here and say this now. If the defence doesn't take a good look at itself, and the midfield, bugger it. If all the players don't take a good look at themselves, we ain't going up. And I'll say that now.
Yeah, and at least
playoffs, we ain't going up. I'll say that now.
We've all been looking. We've all been looking up at the table. If you look at the table this evening, you've got to start also keeping an eye on the teams behind you, because unless those games in hand go the way we all want them to, it's going to get really congested.
It would have been good for us keeping it 3-2 because Millwall lost, Borough drew, and Hull lost. So we'd have had a nice gap if we kept 3-2. So it's not really been a disaster losing, because those didn't really gain a lot of points on us. Since we've got to play Borough, we've got to play Hull. We have to play Mill. No, we don't have to play. Yeah, we do have to play Mill.
You're absolutely and that's what I say about tomorrow's show. Being much more measured. We'll take a wider lens at it. We'll take a wider view at it. And you mentioned a good point there about players taking a look at themselves. And we love the comments coming in. I'm going to come to them all very, very shortly. So please do get them coming in. Also, head to our speak pipe and leave your voice message if you want to comment on today's show, today's game rather, or the show. Either one, really. I'm not bothered. However, urgency, Steve. I saw a team today in Wrexham. From the dugout to the players. The manager was animated. The players never gave it a 50-50. It was a 50-50. It was turned into a 70-30. They were up for it. They were urgent. Everything about them today was urgency, urgency, urgency. Now, I spoke on Wednesday about intensity of performance. We had to be more intense. I didn't see enough urgency from us today, Steve. We felt like a team too many times that believed we were just simply going to make it happen because we have the quality and it's okay, we'll make it happen, instead of going out and making it happen. Whereas Wrexham, I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, I'll bring you in here, they were urgent. They wanted to make it happen. They were not content with letting stuff come to them. They were going to it and making it happen.
No, at the end of the day, it was a perfect game for them. At the end of the day, we wanted a more, we wanted a more composed, calm game, and they wouldn't make it a composed, calm game. No matter what, they were going to fight tooth and nail, no matter what. If they'd have lost 6-2, they wouldn't have bothered. Because having a go where they, if they could end up, because they could have lost 6-2. The simple fact is their goals went in and ours didn't. So the top and bottom of it was who wanted the game more. They wanted it more, but that was like us 2 years ago. We wanted it more. I think there's a lot of expectation on us. There's been we've put a lot of expectation on the team. Sometimes you could probably say unfair expectation, considering how poor we were last year. We didn't come down in any great shakes, and everybody expected to suddenly hit the ground running. I think it was a bit of a stretch, especially when we hadn't even got a team in yet. And we've got ourselves back into a position where we want to be in. And, I just think that people have to look at themselves and say, look what they're doing, look what we're doing. They're chasing every single player down on the field, and our players are just standing there waiting for the ball to come closer to them. Where they're chasing after their player. Why don't we chase after their player? Our press stops after the first line. Their press carries on up until all the way through the team. They press from the attackers to the midfielders to the defenders. When our attackers don't get the ball, when the press gets past our attackers, we just stand there in blocks, hoping that it'll come to us. They don't chase after the ball. They just stand there in their own little space, their own little zones. And if the ball is played through them, they're lost.
Yeah, and I'm chase
the ball a little bit more, chase the player a little bit more.
And I'm just sat here today thinking of all those fans that travelled up, be it their first time there or be it the second time in the space of 2 weeks, back to back to Wrexham. Is not easy. Not easy for players, but not easy for fans. And I just feel sorry for those fans that have made the trip. It's raining, it's cold, it's February. My full credit goes to every single Town fan leaving that stadium this evening, because these are the hard yards you put in. So absolutely fair play to you and well done. However, the result is going to really be a sickener, because it is a sickener to me. I just want to. It's not good. I want to get a few comments. Mike D. O'Shea was horrific. Ipswich Jules. O'Shea isn't captain for me. Never has been, and hasn't dragged the team up when they need it. I never agree with that one. I'll be honest with you. Ipswich Jules. I think he's a good captain. However, today was not his finest performance. Upper Town positives. We aren't less than there's 15 to go. 99p super sticker from Stephen Peck. Stephen Peck, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Trevor says, I'm starting to question McKenna and the style of play. Luke says, Paul Cook's signings got us to the Premier League. McKenna's signs have taken us backwards. Steve, what do you think on that one from Luke?
Are the players we've got better than we had before? Yes. Technically, yes.
Technically?
Yes.
Why is it technically and not just an outright they're better?
Because that was a better team. They weren't better individuals, but they were better as a team. They worked harder. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
These don't work as hard, but they are better technically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can have the best players in the world. If they don't work as a team, then you've just got 11 individuals. And right now, I still think that's what we've got. And me and Mike were having this discussion a bit back, saying, are we going to the leads this year of when we went up? I think we are. I think we're going to get to the playoffs. We'll probably fail in the playoffs, and come back stronger the year after, because we've had, in like 3 years, we've had like 4 rebuilds. You can't keep having 4 rebuilds and expecting it to work. Sometimes
that will continue to happen, Steve, while you don't achieve the success that you need to achieve. So if you don't get promoted, for example, you're going to lose players from this squad.
If we get promoted, we'll probably lose Philology.
You'll probably lose Matt Stewart as well, I believe.
It would have to be. Yeah, but if we didn't get promoted, we'd still have parachute money. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we won't get promoted. I'm saying if we don't, we'd still have parachute money. So financially, we've still got money left from this season that we could have spent. So that will carry over to next year. Yeah. So financially, we'd still be in a good place. Yeah. So we can refuse offers if we want to. We will sell the players who don't want to be here. And quite frankly, if they don't want to be here, I want to sell them. Yeah. So we won't be selling anybody who doesn't want to be here.
But to your point, Steve, a rebuild will happen each time you don't achieve the success, be it a mini rebuild or a full rebuild. Now, granted, we've had more of a fuller rebuild in previous years, but there's never a good time to not go up. Look at Sunderland.
But you have to. I agree, but there's never a good time not to go up. But you have to accept sometimes not going up makes you a better team. Like that Leeds team should have smacked the league. Everybody knows that Leeds team was way better than us, and it proved it when they beat us twice. Yeah, so they were way better than us, but we went up and they didn't. Why? Because they were like us, a team of individuals who were very good players, but they weren't a team. We were a team. We were like Wrexham were today. Yeah, and that can get you a lot further sometimes than individuals. Now, to get to the next level, you need the individuals and the team. I just think right now we've got the individuals, but we haven't got the team. And people do forget, that team that went up had been built over 2 years. They've learned and they grew together.
Yeah, that's true.
This team's not even had 12 months.
No.
I think it will take time. If we don't go up, I see Dan Neil being signed. You know what I mean? That'll be in addition to the midfield. There'll be players who go. Yes, there will. Will Matchday will go? Probably not, because we can turn around and say, no, screw you. We won't need to sell for money. It'll be selling for those players who want to leave. And I think a lot of these players will have
regardless of the reasons of why they leave, it's still that rebuilding, as just to go back to your original point. But Trigger Lee says O'Shea, Furlong, both had very poor games, no protection for back four. Moore kept dropping deep every time, no one going with him. He absolutely destroyed our defence. Emily Doyle, well done, Wrexham, great passion and drive. If we're going to concede 5 goals like that, I don't think we deserve to go up. I hope I get proved wrong. Feel for the fans now travelling home. Sid Cup, sorry lads, but get ready for a second season in the Championship. Defending like that will not get you up. Sean says, I'm happy with another year in the Championship. Town are not good enough for the Premier League, and I don't want to repeat of last year. Shareholders want the Premier League money, says Sean. I'm ready for the Premier League riches and the elite level, and we'll hope to do a Sunderland. We've got to get there first, and that's earning that. You've got to earn that right to get promoted. And Luke says we only get 1 year parachute, not as we're only there a season. I believe it's 2 years of parachute money as opposed to 3.
You get 3 years if you're up for 2 years.
Correct. Yeah, that's how I've interpreted the rules, if you like, when I've read them.
That's why Luton got it, even though they went down.
Yeah, yes, exactly. St Austell Blue. Paul Milner, we should have signed a decent striker, but nope, let's get more midfield players. Yeah, I mean, as Steve rightly said, to be fair, you score 3 goals away from home. Whoever scores them, you expect to win the game. When you don't win the game and you lose by 5, 5-3, there's a lot more wrong this afternoon than who was playing up front, whether it be Azon or George Hurst. And
I don't think he played well either today.
What, Azon?
Matasiwa. I just don't think he played very well either.
No, I don't think it was his best game for Town this afternoon.
No, because he usually mops up everything in the midfield. He usually mops up everything in the midfield, and I don't know. He just didn't seem to be doing anything. He was like, barring that pass through the goal, barring that pass through for the goal, where Clark just tipped it on to Azon, who, fair play, beautiful goal. Barring that, that's about all I could see him doing. You know what I mean? He didn't do much else. And I'm thinking, like, well, look, it's to try and stop us from scoring. You should be breaking up play in the middle to stop them running at our defence. So when he doesn't do that and the defence doesn't stop the ball, we're all sat there going, well, the keeper's got to save it. And sometimes he won't save it. So it's all a matter of, like, I don't want to blame just one player and say, well, it's the goalkeeper's fault. We conceded 5 goals. No, there's other players Matasiu in the middle who could.
And also tactically, Steve. Also tactically, you can't say tactically you got it spot on today, which we didn't in every way, in every manner of the game. We didn't.
But this is where I start questioning McKenna, because this has been a common theme throughout the season. The long ball, when we lose the ball, the long ball over the top, our defence is gone, and we're nowhere. It happened at Oxford. It happened at Millwall. The long ball over the top happened at Preston. The long ball over the top, it crucifies us. And that needs to change, because all teams are going to do is when they pick up the ball from us, they know that the long ball over the top will cause us problems. So they just keep doing it. Every team we play, as soon as we lose the ball, they play a long ball over the top. Preston was wanking them over to Jefferson, and he was causing us problems. It happens all the time. If I can see it, why the hell can no one else?
This is it.
Do something different. Go 5-2-3. Go where you're just putting one full back forward. Do something so you've got an extra body at the back.
Well, and that's where I give McKenna credit this afternoon, Steve. He actually did do something a little bit un-McKenna-like. He actually put another striker on, took Matasiu off. All right, he didn't really change the shape, but it was certainly a departure from what we're used to. So look, 5-3 defeat. There's a lot to criticise.
4-3 down at that point, aren't you?
But hey, we've seen it before in the past where we've often sat here and said, why didn't he put another striker on, or why didn't he do this?
I've seen games where he's put another striker on. It still hasn't done anything. What I'd like to have seen at 3-2 was it looked like, I said at 3-2, there looks like they're going to score another goal. I'd have switched to a 5-3-2 and said, sod it, let's just defend. And catch them on the break. We know we're good at catching on teams on the break. That's how we beat Coventry. So just defend, catch them on the break. Do something different, something they didn't expect. We were doing everything they expected. They should have done something they didn't expect.
Yeah. And look, we're going to break it down in a lot more detail tomorrow, 5 p.m. We'll take a wider lens, see where it's left town, where we plot the course from here. Got a few more comments coming in. I've got one more question for you, Steve. Don't forget we are partnered with Match Bingo. Remember the word town, all in caps, to play Match Bingo for a 100% deposit bonus. Use that word town, all in caps, TOWN, all in caps, town, for a 100% deposit minimum. Deposit bonus, £10 deposit minimum, over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information. And if my afternoon couldn't get any worse, Steve, before I went live, I caught my finger, and the only plasters we've got in the house are Paw Patrol plasters. So if anyone's sat at home thinking, what is that on his finger? It is Sky from Paw Patrol. And
the pink dog.
Yes, it's the only plasters we've got in the house. Unbelievable. I had a bit of a McKenna moment. McKenna away at Hull when he hit the old side of the dugout when they scored.
How does he know Sky was the pink pig? When
he scored.
I've had the grandchildren around. That's how I know Sky was the pink pig.
When they scored their fifth, Steve, I caused it on the desk. Like but there we go. Right, okay, Steve. Last question to yourself. But hang on, I'll get a few more comments. Actually, some great ones coming in. We can't handle long balls, says Hamish, and teams who play fast. Direct football, Wrexham got it spot on today. We've got Jamie's sort of adding more parachute payment information to it. We love that, Jamie. You're right. Because at the end of the season, if you get promoted and you're a receipt of a parachute payment, it goes to the remaining Premier League teams. It gets the rich get richer, as they say. Well, yeah, we've got to get there. All right, Steve, last question to you. Has this game changed your thinking about Ipswich at all? Or is it a case of you knew what this team was all about before you came into it and nothing today has changed that opinion, good or bad or indifferent? Or has it changed your opinion? And if it has changed your opinion, what's it changed it to?
To be fair, nothing's changed my opinion. We've had a sort of weak. I know people have gone on about how strong we've been in certain games, but we've had a soft underbelly defence for certain things all season. you know. And like I said, most of our goals have come from sloppy mistakes or long balls over the top. Most of the goals we've conceded, yeah. So, and that's been a repeated pattern all season. Either mistakes, like O'Shea did today, or long ball over the top to more like happened today. You know, that's been a common theme throughout all the games where we've dropped points. We need to focus on, you know, either stopping the long balls, i.e., if both fullbacks are going to go, one of the midfielders has to drop in, has to drop back. Either Matasuwa or the other midfielder has to drop back if both defenders. Everybody can't bomb forward, yeah, when we've got the ball. Because what if we don't keep the ball? You know, then we're exposed. So that needs to be looked at. As regards where we're finishing the league, you know, I still think we'll probably finish about third. Possibility a second. You know, I'm not ruling it out. Middlesbrough didn't win today. They're only playing bloody Oxford at their ground, and they couldn't beat Oxford. Come on. So we've still got to play.
Steve, what's our record against Oxford at Oxford?
Well, we beat Oxford once.
Yeah, I mean this season. Well,
yeah, but it's not at Oxford. It was at Borough.
Oh, well, okay, that's even worse. Yeah, that's even.
You know,
yeah,
so
fair point. Oh, fair point. Fair point.
You know, if we can beat Borough and we win our 2 games in hand, Borough will be behind us. Yeah. So the simple fact is, the mathematics do work out, but we have to improve on what we're doing. Yeah. And I will say one last thing: going to Wrexham's not easy. What is it? They've lost 1 game all season. You know, they spanked Coventry. You know, I know it's easy now in the moment to turn around and say that was a poor result, but we also went to a team who has got heart, have got desire, and at their ground are very good, as the record this season has shown. They've got a better record at home than Coventry do. Yeah, so you have to give them props at their away the pants. Yeah, at home they're not. Yeah.
Well, no,
we're losing 1 game at home all season. That's not an excuse of why we lost, because we caused that. They didn't beat us. We lost it again. And there's far too many games this season where we've lost the game. They haven't beaten us. You know, because like I said to you before we came on air, I don't think they had to work very hard for any of them goals. And that's where our problem is. We need to start making teams work harder for their goals. If you're going to score against us, you're going to have to work for it. Right now, they're not.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at the record up on my board. 38% I've got it as their win record this year at home. So, you know, not a bad record, not obviously amazingly brilliant as well. Look, I can't criticize or speak about
They've drawn a lot.
They completely outplayed us today, out tactically played us out in every department. And you say it's not an easy place to go. Well, Steve, it isn't an easy place to go, particularly the way we played this afternoon. We didn't make it difficult too many times for them.
Everything we're bad at, they're good at. And we have to change the fact that, look, when teams, and lots of teams do it to us, not everyone's going to come and play us like Coventry do. And if they haven't learned this by now, there's something wrong. And this is where I'll start questioning McKenna. If he hasn't learned that everybody's going to come and play football in every game, which they're not, yeah, you have to figure out, well, what are they going to do when they flip it over the top of the midfield? You have to figure this stuff out. And right now, I don't think we've worked it out. Because if we go into the playoffs, yeah, and we end up playing someone like Millwall or Wrexham, we've got to have it down pat. How do we play these teams when they just flip it over the top of us? You know, we've got to have that figured out. Now, I think we can figure it out, yeah, but we've got to get it done.
Do you think we can figure it out, honestly?
I do think the players there are capable of doing it, because I've seen them put in excellent performances. Today could just have been they all played badly, you know, and we just got stung at the wrong time. Because I've seen, you know, we've all seen Furlong, we've all seen O'Shea, we've all seen Kipper and Davis all have really good games. We've all seen them have really good games together, like when we played Coventry. You know, I know Greaves played that day, but we've all.
Sorry, Steve. I'm just laughing at Upper Town here. Everything we're bad at, they're good at. So football then. Upper Town. I feel the pain through that comment, Upper Town. I feel the pain.
It's that
I love that you're always positive. I love that you always have that outlook. It can.
I'm not positive. I'm down. I'm just tired.
You're searching for the positive in the negative, and I love that about you as a personality. But equally, it does sometimes come across as and it can be excuses. And
I'd never make excuses for anyone. But I can't turn around and say they're not good players, because we've seen they are good players. Yeah, they don't show it enough. They don't do it enough to be good players. They're just good players. And are they good? Can we get them to be good players? Yes, but I just don't think the system's working for them to be good players. They just get, like I said, if the two wing backs go forward and the long ball comes over, we get done from that time after time after time. Something has to change. Tell Furlong, stop going on your back. We've got someone on the back. If you're going to do it down the left, tell Davis to keep where he is. If we're going down the right, Furlong can go. If we're going down the left, Davis can go. And the other one can stay. We don't need to have every fullback going down when you've got wingers, you've got midfielders doing it, you've got attackers doing it. You don't need both fullbacks going. You really don't. No. Keep one back and play into a three, and then when the ball comes over the top, there's usually like one striker, maybe a man running with him. You've always got three players to defend against. You've more chance that way, I think. But I'm not an expert. But it worked for us 2 years ago, so why can't it work for us now?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if anyone joined us. I did drop a link a little bit earlier for you to come on and have your say. Sadly, nobody did. But if you do want to have your say, as Liam in the chat says here, get me on the channel and I will tell the truth. Well, Liam, you've got 2 ways of doing that. As you've just missed the link, or you've not clicked it this evening, that's fine. Speakpipe.com. Leave us your free voice message. Give us your thoughts, your opinions, your praises, your rants. Or tomorrow, 5 p.m. There'll be a link to join us tomorrow. Hang on, there'll be a link to join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. as well. So if you're around, jump on, where we break it down a little bit more detail, and also take the wider lens as Town gear up for what is a big week, starting away obviously at Watford. Steve, go on in, far away, lead us out.
As I've been far too positive, then I'll just say this one thing: if we do not change the way we are playing, or the way we work in games, we will not go up. We are conceding too many goals, dropping too many points, with the same thing over and over again, for us to maintain any kind of promotion push. Yeah,
perfect. All right, so until tomorrow at 5 p.m, take care, God bless. You've reached the end. Thanks for watching. Check out more videos, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.